I have had a crush on Will Gold since 2019.
Called this man adorable and I nearly bit off my tongue. If I had made this man uncomfortable, I'm jumping. All right, I'm done. I'm 26 years old. Why is having a crush right now so embarrassing? This man looked at me like he wanted me to look at him.
Have you ever fallen in love with a celebrity? Or maybe you just think they're really hot? I mean, listen, I just watched the House Tour music video by Sabrina Carpenter, and oh my god, her in that brown suit. Sorry. Celebrity crushes are relatively normal, except for what this person is doing. The person we are going to be talking about today is named Tyler Catastrophe over on TikTok, and he has raised over $15,000 to move to not only the country where his celebrity crush lives, but also the literal city. If you don't know who I'm talking about, Tyler Catastrophe is in love with Wilbur Soot. And let's get into it, shall we? So in this video, I want to cover 3 main points, and that is who is Tyler Catastrophe, what they are doing on the internet regarding Wilbur Soot, and 3, the Wilbur Soot abuse allegations and Tyler's response to that, because I think that's wild. A little bit of background on Tyler Catastrophe. Tyler Catastrophe is a trans man, and usually I wouldn't bring something like that up, and also any transphobic comments will be deleted. The only reason I bring that up is because the reason that he states he wants to move to England is because America isn't safe for trans people, which valid.
Seen the guy moving halfway around the world just to be closer to a YouTuber? If y'all think I would make a massive, life-altering decision that takes years of work to achieve, just because I was willing to admit on the internet that I think a musician I don't know has a pretty laugh, then y'all really have the wrong idea. And I suppose you have a better explanation? I was supposed to move to Bournemouth a couple years ago. I had a job lined up, I did a ton of research, made a ton of preparations, admittedly got a little too excited because it ended up falling through at the last minute.
Basically, he's making the argument that he doesn't want to move to England because of Wilbur. He wants to move to England because he's trans, and he feels safer there, which valid. Again, valid. That wouldn't be weird if you weren't moving to the literal place your crush is. Like, England's a big place. It's not really a big place, but there's lots of cities there. You could go to Manchester. You could go to London. There's so many places in England you can move to, and the argument that he makes is that he was already planning to move, I think, to another place in England. I think that's a place in England. I really didn't Google it. I just assumed. I used my extreme pattern recognition skills and assumed that that was a place in England, and so he's like, I was already moving to England, but that fell through. I'm gonna move to just happen to move to where the love of my life lives. I'm just saying, you could have picked anywhere. And I think, honestly, my perspective of this is that this is really unhealthy. I don't really get celebrity crushes where it's like, I need to meet this person. If they met me, they would fall in love with me. Maybe when I was like 12, you know? But occasionally I see somebody fine on the internet and I go, that person's fine. And then, you know, they pop up and I move on with my life. Never had a celebrity crush where, like, fictional crushes, sure. Don't get me started on those. But, like, you don't know this man. I want to show you now the video that kind of blew up and blew Tyler up and got everybody talking about this, which I saw this video of my own will, like, of my own accord, scrolling on TikTok. I remember this so vividly. I was in the bathroom on the toilet.
I have had a crush on Will Gold since 2019.
Why is there a man outside my house? Sorry, my Ring doorbell just went off. Chat, pause the clip. There's a man outside my house. Will Gold, first of all, is Wilbur Soot's real name, legal name. Oh, and by the way, I don't support Wilbur Soot. I don't know if I feel the need to clarify this. I've never been a fan of the Dream SMP. I've never been a fan of any of the content he makes. Like I said, I had friends growing up who were really into it when we were like 16. Anyways, Will Gold is Wilbur Soot's official name, his legal name, the name that he got from his dear mama, okay?
When I heard him laugh in the background of someone else's video, and it felt like life itself leaned in to listen.
You heard him laugh in the back. How did you know it was him? You just heard him in the background, like, and you were like, I'm in love with him.
Which is really inconvenient for me, because I am very much a one soul at a time kind of person, so once I develop a crush, virtually no one else stands a chance ever.
Okay, so this man is so in love with Wilbur Soot that it's that's not a word. It's detrimental to his IRL dating life.
And at the time, I had just broken off a terrible engagement to a guy who didn't even fucking like me. And since then, I have only briefly dated one other person, who was wonderful, but it didn't work out. And so in all of that time, regardless of how many people have tried and been interested in me, I have not been able to find the interest for any single one of them.
See, that is where this becomes a problem. And also, not only is it just a problem inherently of itself, like, this is obsessive behavior. This is, big scary word here, limerence.
Because I have a fucking crush on a guy I have interacted with once.
And I don't even officially know his sexuality.
I think Wilbur's sexuality is like the least of your problems here because I don't know if he likes men. Should I Google it? Hold up. Okay. I'm gonna have to clear my search history after that. Does Wilbur Soot like men? I don't see anything here. I think that's the least of your problems because if there's one thing celebrities never want to do, it's date fans. And if they date fans, you kind of have to, like, you have to pretend you're not a fan, you know? Because I think about this a lot. I'm like, it would be kind of fun to date somebody that, like, you're secretly a fan of, and you're like, it would be, like, fun if you could be like, no, I don't know who you are. Like, do you think they could tell? Do you think they could tell? I think I could pull it off. You know what I mean? Like, you can't go to a meet and greet, which I'll get into that later. You can't go to a meet and greet at this man's concert and think he's gonna fall in love with you. This is literally the same level as thinking the stripper's in love with you. If you are paying to go to his job and meet him and for him to do a little show for you, you're already marriage material gone. If you have to pay somebody to hang out with you, I think they might not see you as dating material.
And I have tried so hard to move on from this, to let it go.
Let it go.
Because I want so badly for it not to cross over into parasocial territory.
Not to cross over into parasocial territory? Buddy, you went into a cannon and launched yourself into parasocial territory. You didn't even toe the line. You didn't even tiptoe over it. You flew over the line of parasocial territory. This is the line, and this is you going over it. It's the fact that he is so wholly unaware of every line he is crossing.
But in like the 7 minutes that we spoke to each other, one, every time we made eye contact, I thought my heart was gonna fucking burst out of my chest and fly away. Two, I was so nervous that my head just shut off and my mouth had a mind of its own. And anyone who knows me and has ever met me knows that I don't get nervous about people. What the hell was that? 3, he somehow managed to make me want to write music again, something I have not done since my last band broke up in 2019 and I got hit by a car and couldn't sing anymore.
You got hit by a car? Damn, bro. Oh my god. There's so much to unpack here. I met Wilbur Soot for 7 minutes and he revived everything that I thought had died within me. That's how this guy talks too, by the way. It's serving like a poem you wrote in like not third grade, like 9th grade, where you thought you were being deep and you were like, and my mom never loved me and I never loved anyone, you know? And then I met Wilbur Soot and I looked in his twinkling eyes and then he said to me, I don't know how to use your Android phone to take a picture. And then my heart burst open, my rib cage cracked open, and he reached in and ripped out my guts one by one and then ate them, and then we listened to Ethel King, and then we talked about the erotic symbolism of cannibalism.
And I can sing again now. It took several years, but I got it back because I'm amazing.
Oh, slay. Okay.
But how dare you pull my spark back out from underneath the ashes I spent years burying it under because it hurt too much to think about.
He's looking off to the side the entire time like he's reading this off like a Google Doc or like the notes app of his phone. How dare you reignite my spark with your crusty dusty flint like we're on a Survivor episode. Did you guys see the Survivor episode where they made fire with his glasses? How dare you make fire out of my ashes with your glasses? Oh my god, yo, that was bars. I'm sorry, this is such a wild thing. I'm trying to like put myself in his shoes and be like, imagine I got hit by a car, which my dad hit somebody with his car. I'm not allowed to talk about that. Actually, no, the lawsuit's over. I can talk about that. So, like, statistically speaking, in my family history, it's probably not likely gonna happen to me. I'm probably gonna hit somebody with my car. But my grandma-in-law, she's not my real grandma, not in-law, that insinuates I'm married. My step-grandma, she's been hit by 2 cars, so, I mean, maybe, but she's not blood related to me, so. But, like, imagine I got hit by a car. I'm just confused, like, how do you get hit by a car and it affect your singing ability? Like, rib damage, or did you get hit square in the trachea? Okay, so you got hit by a car, it hurt too much to think about, you met Wilbur Soot, and you wanted to kiss him on the mouth, okay.
And 4, he failed to take a selfie with me because he was operating on, like, iPhone settings and I have an Android, and I accidentally called him adorable, and immediately wanted to swallow my fucking tongue. Because you don't flirt with people when they're working.
You don't say that to anybody, period. First of all, that's not, I don't consider that flirting. You calling me adorable. Flirting to me is like you worshiping the ground that I walk on. Maybe that's toxic. Maybe I'm the toxic one in this situation.
And my point is, it's a whole thing that I would like to no longer have to deal with. And all of this is made worse because I have been recognized at every single concert I've been to in the past year and a half, including 2 of his, And I've been on the Lovejoy Nation podcast twice.
So you've been recognized at every single concert, and instead of going, this man is a man with abuse allegations against him, and he probably doesn't have much of a fan base anymore. There's probably like 6 people going to these concerts. I mean, I'm sure it's not hard to pick a face out in the crowd. Instead of logically going that route, you're like, no, he's in love with me. No, he wants to make out passionately with me. So go and tell your friends that I'm obsessive and crazy. Maybe a little bit.
So no matter how many times I try to sweep this under the rug and move on with my life, there's always that little thing in the back of my head saying, there's a non-zero chance.
So how did we deduce that it's a non-zero chance? May I just ask for a little bit of cite your sources, divine intuition. Because where did we get the fact that it's a non-zero chance? The fact that you go to his meet and greets and pay him to speak to you? I'm sorry, but if you are obsessively trying to meet somebody with the intention of having a romantic relationship with them, especially somebody famous, for lack of a better term. What do we consider famous? I don't know. Anyways, that is weird. It's weird. It's borderline delusional. Trust me, I would know. And it's unhealthy. It's unhealthy. It's clearly impacting his physical day-to-day life, impacting his relationships.
So basically, the way I see it, I finally say fuck it. I make this video. I say it all out loud to the ether that is the internet. Worst case scenario, he sees it, he says, hey, not for me. I move on with my life, it's fine. I'm an adult, who cares?
I would be scared. I would be scared if I saw somebody talking about me like this, because it shows you're not in a right headspace. I'm sorry. Even making this video with the intention of getting a response from Wilbur shows slightly, like, unhinged thinking.
I'll take a no over uncertainty any day of the week. Neutral option, nothing happens. Oh well, I guess. Best case scenario... Because honestly, it doesn't matter what I'm doing any day ever for the rest of my life. If he was like, hey, do you want to get dinner or something? I'd say yes. Obviously, I'm delusional. It's fine. But at this point, I'm just so over the not doing anything about the things that I want. What's up with that? No one gets anywhere that way.
I think that's a great mindset to have with certain things. Not this thing. I think you shouldn't have done anything about it. I think you should have let it be. I think you should have let it go. Let it go. Anyways, so the next video, I believe this is the next video. I don't know if it's in chronological order, but I believe this is a response to the video kind of going viral. And this is what he has to say.
I do know there's a difference between embarrassing and morally wrong, right? They're not the same thing. Because, oh my god, it is so not that serious. Is it embarrassing to publicly admit that you have a crush on someone? Yes. Is it also embarrassing to admit the person you have a crush on has a larger following than you do? Yeah, sure.
And he probably just has to hope that you're not going to try to do something to him violent, because a lot of the time situations like this for content creators end violently.
But having a crush and feeling emotions about a person you don't know is not inherently wrong. I'm not out here writing self-insert fanfiction.
I think that would be better. I said it, okay? I think writing self-insert fanfiction would be a healthier coping mechanism for whatever the hell you're doing, because you're just out there doing it. Normal people before bed at night, they sit, put their head on their pillow, and they think about Wilbur's. No, I don't think normal people are thinking about Wilbur, especially after everything that happened. Anyways, but that's what normal people do when they have a crush. My guy is just going out and doing it. But this guy's defending it. Like, he's like, no, it's not like that. Even though he said it was like that.
I said that I had a crush on a guy who I do not know, and that we met one time, made eye contact, and it gave me butterflies. I said it in a way that wasn't strictly literal, because I'm an artist and a poet, and I like to say the pretty words.
All I want to say is, maybe you should put your talents towards something else. Maybe you should write poetry, not about Wilbur. God forbid I suggest the idea. I don't know, if it was me, which I consume a lot of poetry content, believe it or not. I used to not be into poetry. I just think there's so many beautiful topics that I've heard people write about. Why did we pick Wilbur's? Sorry, that's like such a funny sentence.
But are y'all really so online that you forgot that being human is allowed? Yes, he's successful, and there are other people who want him, and he has a larger following than me, and I've had a crush on him for more than a couple years. But he is just a guy.
He's not just a guy, though. Like, that's the thing. You don't know him. I think Tyler wants to be Wilbur. Not only is he attracted to Wilbur, maybe physically, but he's attracted to what Wilbur is. Or once was, at least. A successful, musician in the public eye. I think Tyler admires that. And I think, once again, I'm gonna use the word limerence. I think it's limerence. I think it's an obsession with the idea of what could be. And I think that's a really ooh, you want to get poetic here, Tyler? Listen to me. It's really intoxicating. No, I think it is. It's something that roots in, and I'm speaking from somebody who has experienced limerence before. It's something that you root in, and it's comfortable, and you don't really want to leave it and start something real. It's kind of like the comparison of, like, if we were all brains in jars, would it be the same, you know? And limerence is being the brain in the jar and not actually going out and experiencing everything and just kind of living in the what could be, in the liminal, right? And when you're in the liminal, it's really nice. It's really, you know, you're like, oh, anything could be. It's a bit scary when you have all these ideas of what could be to find out what you're actually gonna get, right? That was poetic. Oh my god. Let me do some beat poetry. I get down to beat poetry. How does that song go? I don't know. Somebody edit Tyler and Wilbur to that song.
He is just a guy. And yes, having a crush on him makes it hard for me to have a crush on literally anyone else.
See, like, that's the problem. That's where this is becoming weird.
Because he is proof that all the qualities I want in a partner exist as one coherent person. And why the fuck would I want to settle for someone who doesn't have those qualities when I know that those qualities exist?
You don't even know him. My brother in Christ, he bites people. Like, you don't know him. He literally has abuse allegations against him, and you're like, I get a piece of that.
But I'm not out here saying that he's the only person who's allowed to date me. He's the only one who's allowed to try, and if I just wait long enough, he'll fall in love. No. If he asked me out, I would say yes. That is all I said.
That is not all you said. You said, if he asked me out, I would say yes. And also, I keep putting myself in situations where he could ask me out. And also, I am moving to his country and his city. You didn't just say, damn, he kind of fine. You literally said, I'm actively seeking him out. I am actively hunting him down. No, it wasn't that dramatic, but it was a little weird.
Having a crush might be embarrassing, but it is not weird. It is not wrong.
Is that not a song? Is that not a song? They were not dirty. No, they were not wrong. No, they were too lonely versus in the Lord's great song. Yeah.
It is looking at a person and saying, hey, I really like that person. It would be cool if they liked me too. And that is all it is.
Yeah, okay, except that's not all you're doing. You literally started a GoFundMe and raised $15,000 out of $20,000 to move to his city. All it is, like, that's the thing this guy isn't getting for some reason. I don't understand why he's not understanding. I don't understand why you're not understanding. It's totally one thing to be like, I know this man's canceled, but let me tell you, he was fine as hell, right? And it's another thing to be like, one, I don't care that he was canceled. Two, I don't believe the victim of his abuse.
This is disgustingly parasocial. Do you know what parasocial means?
Do you know what parasocial? My brother in Christ, do you know what parasocial means?
Convincing myself that he also has a crush on me and that he wants to marry me. That would be parasocial.
No, that's not what parasocial means. That's delusional. That's different. And I think it's actually a syndrome. That it has a name. It's like a defined mental illness, is believing that somebody that you have like little contact with, it actually might even be people that you have contact with, are in love with you even though they show no signs of it. That's a mental illness. And it has a name. It has a specific name that I actually just read about the other day, actually. That is not what parasocial is. This guy is getting confused. That is a registered mental illness, and I believe, like, a form of psychosis. Parasocialness is believing that you have a connection with somebody in the sense that you know them because of what they've presented to you on the internet. And I don't think parasocial relationships are even inherently bad. I think we all have parasocial relationships in one way or another. Parasocial relationships, if we think before the internet, it would be all those grandmas obsessed with Drew Carey on The Price is Right. Like, you don't know Drew Carey, but they think they do because they watch him every single day and they love him, right? It's parasocial relationships is love without direct connection.
And I know I can pull. And thinking to myself, hey, I bet if this guy knew me, he'd probably like me back. There's a chance. Is also not parasocial.
I'm kind of obsessed with this guy and how he continues to list off things that are 100% parasocial and then just says it's not parasocial, guys. I just think that if Wilbur Soot met me and gave me a chance, we would fall madly in love. But that's not parasocial. It's not parasocial. It's not parasocial. I just think that if I moved to his city, I might have a better chance. It's not parasocial though, guys. It's not parasocial because I don't know him, but I'd like to, you know what I mean? I think the thing that irks me so much about this is the fact that he doesn't realize what he's doing.
It's just thinking.
It's also not just thinking. You're like actively acting on it.
I know the difference between right or wrong, and I know where to stop before the bit becomes weird.
See, I don't think you do. See, I think that's the problem. And now I want to talk about the abuse allegations. Back in the day, a YouTuber and Twitch streamer by the name of Shelby Shubble made a live stream.
There were a lot of things wrong in this relationship that I endured some pretty terrible treatment, but he did mention something early that I should have taken as a red flag. And he wanted to make sure that I was okay with him biting me because he didn't want me to come back later and say that he abused me. He started biting me more and more over a period of time, sort of throughout the whole relationship. And I tell him how uncomfortable I was, how much I didn't like being hurt all the time. I was covered in bruises all over my arms. He lived in filth. He said he doesn't clean at all when I'm not there because he just waits for me to get there to do it.
She says that she didn't realize she was in an abusive situation while the abuse was happening, and she felt the need to talk about it because she thought that her experience could help other people, which I 100% agree with. Hurting anybody when they tell you not to is a problem. So here's what Tyler has to say about the abuse allegations.
I do not think that Wilbur Soot is an abuser.
Tyler Catastrophe doesn't believe a word that Shovel said. Once again, Mr. It's not parasocial. Your man has abuse allegations against him, and you're like, no, he's not like that. Not my Pookie baby bear. No, he wouldn't hurt a fly because I know him so well. Like, is the non-parasocial relationship in the room with us right now?
Believe victims, believe survivors. However,
Except when it's a man I'm in love with.
as a victim myself, as a survivor myself, what we should be saying when we say those words is believe victims, believe survivors first.
No, okay, hold on. I'm gonna let him say what he has to say after I speak. I feel like what this sentence is insinuating, which we'll see what he explains it to be in a second. Believe victims, believe survivors first. Okay, so are we saying that we should believe somebody who's been a survivor of abuse over somebody that is talking about abuse? Is that what he's trying to say here? He might not be, but I want to speak my thought before it leaves my head because I have a problem with that. Why would I ever believe you, who is supposedly a survivor of abuse, like if we're gonna give you the Shovel treatment here, that the treatment you're giving Shovel, why should I believe you over her? You guys are doing the same thing. I don't want to say that I don't believe him, because I do. You can't say, oh, I'm a survivor of abuse, which I don't even like the word survivor. I don't know. Personally, I don't like it. Some people do. I don't like it. But and be like, oh, I don't believe her because I'm actually a real survivor. That is such a harmful mindset to have, like, oh, I'm actually the real one here. Like, abuse is not a competition, although we seem to make it be one.
Because the unfortunate truth is that just because you would never lie about something so important does not mean that no one would. I know how it feels to not be believed. So if someone tells me that they have been through a similar situation to my own, I will always believe them first. But if it comes to a point where I cannot feel comfortable believing them, that is saying a lot. And I definitely do not make that decision lightly, ever.
My brother in Christ, he admitted to it. He said, I'm in therapy now. He literally said, yeah, I did that. Yeah, I bit her. But I'm going to therapy so I don't bite people anymore, which is a wild thing. Like, are you a dog?
It does not matter how much I like the accused. It does not matter how attractive they are. It does not matter how successful or talented they are.
See, my problem with it, I would rather him just say he supports an abuser. Like, and I know that's so messed up to say. I would rather you just say, I'm gonna keep watching his content or I'm gonna keep listening to his music because I think he's hot. Like, I would literally rather you just say that other than trying to tiptoe around it and be like, I don't believe her, and then like trying to justify the fact that you're into him, you know?
My decisions are made up of my experiences, just as yours are made up of yours.
Okay, see, that's the problem though, because your experiences was different from Shovel's, and you think that gives you justification to believe her or not. You're fully welcome to believe that he's going to change as a person. You're fully welcome to believe whatever you want. You should not discredit what was literally proven true by the man himself. Like what if, like, God came down. I'm not religious. It's just an example. God came down and said to you, my child, I am real. And then you were like, I don't believe you.
At the end of the day, there are hundreds, if not thousands of victims and survivors that I believe wholeheartedly. And there are genuinely only 3 that I know of that I cannot feel comfortable believing. But I will never compromise my own moral compass just to make someone else feel better. Because my moral compass was forged in a fire that I hope no one else has to go through.
Now finally, for the dessert of this video, I want to talk about the time that he tried to join Wilbur's band. It's a little bit funny. It's a little bit funny because I just think it's so funny that he's like, I'm not parasocial. Anyways, here's the time I tried to join his band. Like, okay, so here's his audition.
I have absolutely no idea if one of my favorite bands might want a second vocalist, but I do know I am crazy enough to ask. So hi, Lovejoy. Do you want a second vocalist? My name is Tyler Salona. I'm 26 years old. I live in Texas, but I'm trying to move to England anyway. I'm a massive extrovert. I've been performing since I was 10, and in 2019, I was actually a semi-professional vocalist.
I just want to say, because you had a band doesn't make you a professional vocalist. Anybody could start a band. I could start a band tomorrow and I can't sing. Snow glows white on the mountain tonight. Lead single drops tomorrow, guys.
But then had to spend almost 5 years getting my voice back after losing it completely because someone hit me with their car.
Imagine being the band Lovejoy and you get this audition and it's like, hey guys, somebody hit me with their car 5 years ago and then I lost my voice permanently, but then I got my spark back when I met Mr. Wilbur Soot.
Anyway, here's Portrait of a Blank Slate. The whole thing. I hope you like it. I mean, you probably like it already, let's be honest. It is your song, but I also hope you like the parts that I'm gonna do. The singing part. You know.
I'm kind of obsessed with the way he talks. Like, the singing part, yeah. I saw a lot of people that were like, I don't like the way he talks. I like the way he talks. I think he's fun.
He told me that much and now he's dead. Told me to kill my indulgences with a sharp blow to the temple. Pick up the phone call and do everything he said.
My friend, when we were 16 years old, she came over to my house. She sat on my bed. I think she showed me like the one where he sings about like wanting to get with a girl. It's like a joke song. And he's like, I stalk you on the internet and I want to get in your bed. I don't think those are the lyrics, but guys, that was fire. I should be the new Wilbur Soot. I have to pee so bad, so I'm gonna end the video here. Not that there was much more to talk about. Thank you so much for watching. If you watched this far, you have to subscribe, legally obligated. If you enjoyed watching, please don't forget to like the video. And if you didn't enjoy watching, I don't want to hear it. And I'll see you guys in the next one, if there ever is a next one, because I got kind of depressed in between filming the last one and this one, so I might get depressed and you might never see me again. If you see me again, praise the Lord, hallelujah. Love you guys.